what's up guys? In this video I'm going to show you how to remove your rear door handle on your Honda Civic. And the first thing we are going to have to do is remove the door panel from the inside of the vehicle. We're going to start out by removing this window switch cover right here. And I'm going to use a plastic pry tool to pop this thing off. You can use a flathead screwdriver. You just got to be careful when you're prying on it not to scratch the plastic. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my tool and we're going to come around the back side here and just pry up on the cover and then just pull back on it and the cover releases. And then we need to unplug it by pushing on, you can see there's a little tab right there. So I'm going to push on the tab with one hand, and then with the other hand I'm going to pull out on this cover and just set that to the side. And then we are going to take a Phillips screwdriver and remove this screw right here. And next we're going to take a really small flathead screwdriver and we're going to open the door handle here, and we're going to push in on this little tab here on the end and get your screwdriver in behind there, and then we're going to kind of pry out on it and it pops that inner cap out. And in behind there you can see there's a Phillips screw right there. We're going to have to take that out. And then also in behind here is this clip right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that small flathead and we're just going to kind of gently press on the center of the clip. And just going to push just enough where it goes in maybe 1/4 of an inch, but not even that much, maybe 1/8 of an inch. That center portion will kind of push in, and that's all we need to do right now. And then we're going to come back to that clip here later and I'll show you how we're going to get that out. And next you're going to want to take a wide plastic pry tool. This is from the same set that I had my skinnier plastic pry tool from earlier. You can get these sets for pretty inexpensive off of Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below where you can get these. But so what you're going to do is you want to take your wide one and we're going to jam it between the door panel and the door frame itself. And then what you're going to do is take one hand and put it on your door panel, and then take the other and grab a hold of your plastic pry tool, and then we're going to pull out on both of those at the same time. And that will pop the bottom of your door panel loose. And your sides will typically pop loose also, but if your sides, there still feels like there's a clip up here being held in, you can go towards the top where it feels like it's being held in and just take your plastic pry tool and pop the door panel loose. Kind of follow it up until you feel it give. And then it should feel like the whole door panel is loose except for this top edge. It should just be pivoting on the top edge, and that's because the top of the door panel is curled around like that and it's actually hanging on the door panel. So that's where we want to be. And then to get this clip out that I was talking about earlier, if it didn't already pop out, a lot of times when you pop the door panel loose, it'll already be loose or it'll fall out. But if it's not, if it's still kind of in, you can pull out on the door panel and just pick it up slightly. So I'm just holding on the bottom, pick it up, and then push it back in. And it pushes that clip right out. And here's the clip right here. When we go to put it back in, you're going to reset it by pushing it back through like that. And then once we have the door panel back on, you're going to want to stick it through both holes and then just press it flush. And then that's how you reinstall it. But all I was doing was I was just picking up on the door panel. So I was pulling the door panel away from the car, the bottom, and then I was picking up on it and then pushing it back in. And you can see how it unaligns the hole, and that's what presses the clip out when I do that. And now to get the door panel off the car, we are just going to pick up on the door panel, and it releases this edge here from the car. And now we just got to go around to the back side of the door panel to disengage this inner door handle. So this door handle here on the back side of the door is held in by these little clips right here. So it's going to start here on the end, And we're going to push these in with our fingers, and then while I'm doing that, I'm going to kind of put a little bit of pressure, pushing the door handle towards the inside of the car. Same with these two clips right here. Press those, and then kind of push it through. And then with my other hand on the other side, I'm going to pull it forward a little bit, and then turn it, and then feed it back through the hole. And now that the door panel is off, we need to pull down some of this plastic so we can get in behind the door handle to get the bolts out. So we're going to start by popping this cap off here. And then we are just going to pull down on this plastic. Go ahead and unplug this. And I'm going to tell you why here in a second. So we're just going to pull this down. This black stuff can be pretty messy. Sometimes it wants to stay on the plastic also. It can get everywhere. Just try not to touch it if you can. It can get all over your arms and stuff. If you need to get it off of your arms, oil works really well. So you could even use like vegetable oil, olive oil, coconut oil. Put it on a paper towel and rub it on your arm to get it off of your arms or your tools. So we're going to pull that down. And once we have that down, you can see the back of one of the bolts right there. And then the other bolt is back in behind here, and we have to access it through this little window right here. And we need to drop down this door latch. It's a whole assembly inside here. Once we drop that down, then we can gain access through the bolt to take the bolt out. But that's why we unplugged this, because this is part of the assembly, and we're going to have to drop the whole thing. So we're going to have to remove this bolt right here, and then these 3 screws. And for that, you're going to want to use a ratchet, and it's a number 3 Phillips. So it's not your standard Phillips. It's a really big one. You got to be careful because these are pretty easy to strip out, and it can be tightened pretty good in there. So you want to make sure you use a number 3. If you don't have one, you can get these off Amazon, and I'll link in the description below where you can get these. So first we are going to take out this bolt here. And then these 3 screws right here. And when you're taking these out, you want to make sure that you are pressing your Phillips in there, putting pressure against it as you turn it. And that'll help keep it from stripping. And then we're just going to take this assembly and kind of drop it down just a little bit here. And then we're going to take this is actually a radiator hose removal tool, but it's going to work perfect for what we have to do next. Again, if you need one of these, I'll link to these also. So I'm going to come in through here, this little window opening I made right here, and we're going to disconnect the rod, the connecting rod from the door handle from the latch. So I'm going to come in through here, but I'm going to change my camera angle to come in through the side here so you can see what I'm doing. But my tool is going to be going through this hole right here. Alright, so we need to get this plastic clip right here flipped up, and then we need to disconnect the rod. So I'm going to take my radiator hose removal tool and get it behind there, and we just flip that little clip up like that, and then I'm going to go in between here. So this, you can see, that's the handle right there. I'm going to be kind of just prying against the handle, and I'm going to pop this rod right out. So all I did was I stuck it in between there, and then I just pried like that, and it popped that rod loose. And now we're going to go ahead and take this bolt out here on the end. Just use a 10mm socket with a extension on a ratchet. And then we need to peel this little sticker back right here, just so we can get access through this window to take the bolt out. So I'm just reaching around the backside of the door and just popping the sticker. You don't have to take it completely off, you just got to be able to get access through here. So you can leave it on there. And then I'm going to be taking my 10mm socket with my extension and coming through this window to get that bolt out. And when you're taking this bolt out, you want to make sure that you want to keep your, when you're kind of bringing it back out, you want to keep it tilted back as much as possible so this doesn't fall out, because then you'll lose it inside the door. Another thing you can do is a really probably best practice, and it's a cheap insurance on not losing your bolt. Just take a piece of painter's tape that you get at like Lowe's or Home Depot or something, you know, just for painting like an interior house, and place it over your socket before you go in to take the bolt out. Just place it over like that, and then when you put it onto the bolt and then take the bolt out, you can pull it out and the bolt doesn't want to fall out. So that's a good way to just not lose the bolt when you're doing this. And then take this bracket and just wiggle it loose. This is the backing plate for the door handle. And then just take it out and set it to the side. And now we can just come out to the outside of the car and pull on door handle. And you might have to wiggle it a little bit to get it out, and then feed this end out. And now your door handle's out. And when you go to put it back in, you just want to make sure to feed this end in first. And then when you go to put this in, you want to pull the door handle like you're opening it, and feed that through, and then press that in, and then you can shut it. And that's how you get the door handle back in, rather. And then, you know, put the backing plate back on, the bolts. Basically, just do everything in reverse order, and then make sure you hook up your rod that connects your latch to your door handle. But that's it, guys. That is how you remove your door handle. Thanks for watching.